Well, good evening, America, and you're getting ready to watch the strangest It's Happening Out you've ever watched. Of course, this is It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay TV show, and it's 8 p.m. Wednesday, April 1st, 2020, April Fool's Day. Happy April Fool's Day. We are broadcasting from the World AIDS Museum, and we're going to have a very strange and different show for you tonight, obviously. Do you know why? Because we live in coronavirus. And we're going to cue first, happening now, our breaking news that we want to talk about. Today in Florida, where the show is broadcast, we broadcast to the nation and to the world, the only live talk show, LGBT talk show like this in the world. But here in Florida, big news because our governor has finally decided to be among the last to respond to coronavirus as a state governor, and he has done that. Before we show you the video, let me tell you what's happening in Florida. This morning on the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie had Dr. Fauci from the White House Coronavirus Commission that is reporting every day. And Savannah Guthrie read comments that Governor DeSantis of Florida said about he was waiting on some direction from the federal government and had not received it. And the doctor picked up the CDC guidelines and said this guideline of social isolation and shuttering in terms of bringing business to a stop is a national challenge, not an individual challenge, and should already have been followed, and directly called out the governor of Florida for his assertion that he had not gotten federal direction. Within 1 hour, the governor of Florida had a news conference talking about the actions that he was going to take now, and we've prepared that for you. Watch this.
In Florida, we did the 15 days to stop the spread. I mean, I think it's clear that that represents effectively a national pause. We've seen some of the job losses. We've seen some of the economic problems that have happened as a result of this. We're going to be in this for another 30 days, I think, based off that. And that's just the reality that we find ourselves in. And so given those circumstances and given the unique situation in Florida, I'm going to be doing an executive order today directing all Floridians to limit movements and personal interactions outside the home to only those necessary to obtain or provide essential services or conduct essential activities.
Well, in all fairness, have you ever seen the old Xerox machines where you Xerox a copy, and then you Xerox a different copy, and then the quality gets less and less? Well, that's the governor of Florida. Our very poor president, in terms of his reaction of coronavirus, the governor of Florida is a fifth-generation Xerox of him. And that is what's caused this late delay in response on the state level of a shelter-in-place policy. It's one of the reasons why many of Florida's beaches did not close. And in fact, most of the action that has taken place in the state of Florida has been administered by individual municipalities, either on the county level or by city level. And in fact, most of the actions that have taken place here in South Florida have been because of the leadership of the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, for example, Dean Trentalis, or the mayor of Miami, or the mayor of Palm Beach, etc. And so these changes are only implementing because President Trump will not implement a national policy, implement all kinds of things that he should on a national policy. And as a result, the governor of Florida will not institute many state policies, and he's left it to our poor mayors that have had to manage the coronavirus. And leading up to this breaking news in happening now. What do y'all think about what the governor in Florida did?
I can't believe that it honestly took that long for this to happen. It's really upsetting to hear news that there are 40 states as of last night that were reported to be in lockdown. And we are one of the ones that are at the top 5 states of cases, and yet we're still not in lockdown as of last night. We finally are now, thankfully, but it took this long. If response had been this slow for the rest of the country, we'd probably see the cases skyrocket even more. And unfortunately, it's because of Trump that they've even gotten to this level, because he had the opportunity 2 months ago to help us all and chose not to.
I always say it's better late than pregnant, and I am super glad that he's jumped on board that ship. Put safety first.
Yeah.
I will agree. I'm glad that he finally did this. But I think that his press conference today showed exactly how weak he is as a leader and how much he's actually in Trump's pocket. And if you watched the conference enough, you could see he was very uncomfortable with himself and the words that he was actually saying. So I just...
And let's call a spade a spade. The reason why you feel that way, in my opinion, or the way we all feel that way in terms of his response, is he's afraid to take any action. He's afraid to be responsible for any action. Where is Governor Cuomo? We need to move him to Tallahassee. He is among the top leadership in America, and the governors are all saying, whether you're Republican or you're Democratic, the federal government has crashed the plane. Now, we're going to survive, but they've crashed the plane. The first reported coronavirus patient was on January 17th. We've had 2.5 months to have respirators, masks, PPEs, and other general emergency responses. And we have dealt with a president that has said, there's only 15 people, it's going to go away, it's going to be miraculous, it's just going to go away. Until his report today acknowledging that 100,000 to 220,000 people are going to die now. And if they don't do a really perfect job, 1.6 to 2.2 million people could potentially die.
He's okay with that. That's where this all lies. He's okay with the fact that that many people are going to die.
Yeah. And
this is a legacy for him, a new Trump legacy, a new bankruptcy that the Trump name can be associated with, the most deaths in American history. Yeah. And I hope that that is exactly what Trump's legacy is. He will be responsible for the most deaths in American history.
Yeah. I'm just glad his tune has changed. Instead of being it's not applying to us. We're Americans. We can handle anything. We're super humans. And I'm glad his tune has changed, that we are, in fact, vulnerable.
Yeah. A lot of people are still thinking that because it's a crisis, are looking to support him now. And some numbers are saying that he's even gotten more support. He's up to 49% in the polls, which is the highest he's ever been.
That's because his stimulus package of giving everyone $1,200. If he didn't do that, I don't think that he would be in favor of anybody right now.
Yeah. Well, it's our Happening Now breaking news tonight as we begin this very strange edition of It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay TV show. Now, you saw a couple of strangers here I have to introduce. Of course, guest hosting tonight is very famous trans activist, Misty Eyez from here in South Florida. You work at SunServe, and you do. Tell us a little bit briefly of what you do.
My name is Misty Eyez, and I have been an entertainer in South Florida for over 20 years, and I am, for the last several years, have been the Director of Transgender Services, the Director of Women's Services, and the Director of Education and Training at SunServe, where I basically wear two hats: case management of LGBTQ lesbians or women, and transgender individuals. We do wraparound case management. It's a client-led program where we focus on your strengths. And if you need help, we're going to help you with whatever way possible. Yeah. And then I also do trainings in corporate world, helping LGBTQ knowledge come to the forefront so that communities can learn how to deal with it.
Well, and we thank you for being here tonight. America, we let you know, we're broadcasting from the World AIDS Museum. The museum, like everything else, is closed. We thank the World AIDS Museum. Our permanent set is built right here in the middle of this live and interactive museum. We are following the protocols required and necessary for a broadcast television show like ourselves, and masked right up until broadcast. We're in social isolation, even if you can't tell it in the number of cameras that we're using tonight, but we're in social isolation, including production and cameras. And Misty, we thank you. Also, a new face that you haven't seen, he's been on Q News tonight, is Christopher Clawson Rule, who has Breaking Rules Publishing, one of the preeminent LGBT publishing companies in the United States. Christopher, welcome tonight to It's Happening Out.
Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun thing. We're doing the show tonight with four. Power Infiniti is in Lakeland, and travel is very unadvisable right now, of course, in Florida. Aaron Phoenix is in Clearwater in Tampa Bay. Again, unadvisable for travel, so we appreciate Misty and Christopher helping us. As you know, Ron Brenesky, we've reported extensively at Q News tonight. In our social media, Ron Brenesky has transacted and come down with COVID-19. He is currently in hospital ICU and is in a medical coma, fighting on respirator. And we wish Ron all of the best. All of the hosts and production at It's Happening Out have now been tested. We were tested on Friday, and everybody here in South Florida tested negative with the sole exception of Chef Josie. And we're going to bring Josie in here. She is in isolation at home, and she tested positive on Saturday. And before we talk to Josie here, I want to draw attention to her page, or you can see it at Q News tonight. Chef Josie is doing a super interesting video program now every day called Chef Josie's Corona Diary. And it's different things. We broadcast it on Q News tonight every night at 7. And you should see it and go to her social media, whichever. I'm sure Josie's going to tell us about that. So we're hoping we can see Josie, and I'm assuming everybody can. Josie, good evening and welcome to It's Happening Out. First off, before you say a word, I'm loving this because I get to completely control Josie's visibility and No, I'm only kidding.
Of course, Al loves to be in the
Yeah,
control.
we're thrilled you're here. We're thrilled you're here. First off, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Listen, Al, I'm just blessed. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful that my symptoms seem mild. I mean, I'm not trying to be boastful, because you don't know how this works out until it completely works itself through your system. But the worst symptom for me in the moment is not being able to smell anything or taste anything. And as a chef, that's like, that has never happened to me in my life. And this is now going on 8 days of not being able to taste anything or smell anything. Needless to say, my wife says I'm lucky that I can't smell myself, but who knows, this is, gotta keep
I was going to make food jokes and restaurant jokes about you not being able to taste, but that probably would be inappropriate in terms of going for that joke. Josie, I'm curious, what's it been like in terms of being, when you got your COVID test back? It came as a kind of a shock because all of us got negatives and you came in last with the positive. When you got the COVID diagnosis of being positive, what was your first reaction? I was one of the first people that talked to you on the phone. I know you called me immediately. I was absolutely shocked, stunned. How did you feel when you first got the notice?
Well, considering that I'm the only one who tested positive, I said, wow, I guess I'm the lucky one and maybe I should go play. But all joking aside, I was really scared at the moment. Like there was a moment where my heart started beating so fast. I got a knot in my stomach. I didn't know how to process the news, and I can just, even Marcy, my wife, needed, to give me a moment because I just needed a moment. And it took about 10 minutes for me to process all of the different emotions I was going through. Mainly it was fear and anxiety. Fear, because, we're watching the news and you watch the news and you think, oh my God, and you forget that there's 80% of the people who are going to survive the virus. But that initial reaction was just human, I guess.
Yeah. America, I remind you, please make sure you go to Q News tonight or to Josie's social media and look at the preparation of what she is doing now daily, called Chef Josie's Coronavirus Diary. Today's episode that she did, day 3 of your reporting, was about truth and coming out of the closet about COVID. And you make the observation, which I thought was really interesting. We talked about it among the hosts, the anchors at Q News tonight, that we're creating our own closet and this new stigma standard of COVID, and that we shouldn't be doing that. Tell us about already in just day 3, this feeling of stigma and how truth should be how you're living this experience.
So, just like in real life, I'm out and proud. And just like with COVID, I'm
more out and proud, America, than you can possibly imagine, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's really important, and people need to understand that we can't shame each other. Someone said to me last night on the phone, please don't share my thoughts that I have it, because I don't want to be tagged with a scarlet letter. That it breaks my heart right now, because people think they're going to lose their jobs because of this. And quite frankly, guys, we have to isolate ourselves. If we're not proactive about being responsible, if we're feeling symptoms, if we're testing positive, this virus can kill people. So, I mean, I don't want any blood on my hands. And I don't think anyone else does either.
Yeah. Josie, I know that one of the things that we've talked about in the past has been, one, how much of a source of strength that you are for a lot of other people, and just your ability to be a loving source of support. And I know that every day that I watch you in this diary, and as I share it with my friends, it really shows me that on a day-to-day basis, just what you're going through and how much hope you can give people, because it's really difficult in this kind of a time to have what you're going through. And I know that everyone in this country will soon either have or know somebody that's going through what you are. And I'm not excited about it, but I'm happy that you are the source for so many people to have this kind of light, because your positivity and the way that you can approach the world will not only help you, but will probably end up helping thousands that are going through this here and across the world. So for that, I know it's so difficult right now. I cannot possibly begin to think of what's going on with you, but thank you for what you're doing, and thank you so much for the service that you're providing so many people in our community, but outside of it, because it's a human problem right here.
Josie, I have to, any comment on Napoleon's observation?
Well, I just want to say to him, like we heard the president say, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to see a spike in the viruses and the positive testing around the country. It's going to be a really hard time for everyone. I hope that by sharing my experience, I'm able to just give people another perspective of what is possible if you test positive. There's a spectrum. There's a coronavirus spectrum, and we don't know how it will react to your DNA. We don't know if any of us have a special gene that, will keep us immune to it. We don't know. And, each of us who do test positive, it's just an opportunity for us to collect the data, to share the data, to share our resources. And, I hope it inspires people to stay home, really. Just stay home, because the longer we allow this to run rampant through our communities, the longer our economy comes and stays at a halt.
Josie, very well said, by the way. Josie, one last question that I know is crossing so many people's minds that are watching you right now. When you got the news of your coronavirus being positive, how did mortality wash over you in terms of risk and fear for yourself, for your wife Marcy, for your mother? How did mortality play into your every moment of your life since this has happened?
Yeah, so I think that was the initial moment of fear, because for just a moment I was afraid that I may leave this earth without having done all the things that I planned on doing. And that was the initial. But then I realized after I was able to process that I'm not afraid of death. Death is a part of life. It's the cycle that we live as human beings. I haven't learned or heard of how to become immortal yet. And also, I have faith in my faith. Like I said, I am not afraid of the end. And I am just so grateful for the life that I've lived. And it definitely helped me recognize just the gifts, the blessings, and the life that I have been blessed to live.
Yeah, so well said. America, I just remind you one more time. You're watching somebody as host of It's Happening Out. You're watching a tiger. You know this already. All of us here already know that. This has been a pleasure even to hear your words. America, I promise you, you should take a moment to come to Q News tonight or to Chef Josie's social media and watch Chef Josie's Corona Diary. It is a daily segment. There are 3 so far and that have been done. Started on Monday, on Tuesday, and Wednesday, and each is a specific theme of what Josie is experiencing on that day. Right before we went on the air, I said, Josie, what are you going to do tomorrow? And Josie flatly and plainly says to me, I haven't decided that yet because the day is not over. And I take everything into account of the day, and then I put it into what I'm doing in Chef Josie Coronavirus Diary. So make sure, America, you watch it because it's going to give you a very personal experience. If you test positive for coronavirus or you think you have coronavirus, it's going to be inspirational to you. If you don't test positive or you're negative of coronavirus, you're going to be able to understand what likely millions and millions and millions of people are going to go through, including our friend Ron Brenesky, who is sitting in critical ICU in a medical coma on a respirator. So Josie, we thank you for the time that you're spending on that. And one last personal note at It's Happening Out, I am required, as part of her contractual commitment at It's Happening Out, to deliver every night after Q News and tonight after It's Happening Out. She only lives about 4 blocks from here. I am contractually required to bring her pastries and treats. And so every night I am bringing her cookies or fudge cheesecake.
But you have.
I can't taste them yet, but my wife loves them. My wife loves them.
It's just to see delivery boy Al, and
Right.
he's going to get the outfit for tomorrow. So we're going to post
tonight,
that picture
Josie,
too.
this is my opportunity to say face to face to you. It's cannolis and Italian cookies. And I thank Richard Godidas, who is preparing these pastries for all of you that are coming every night. So it's our connection that you and I will have through this whole crisis. And I can't wait for us to have a cannoli together again soon.
Me too, brother.
It'll be
Me
soon.
too.
So, America, Chef Josie, host of It's Happening Out, the owner of Bubbles and Pearls, a fantastic restaurant here in South Florida in Wilton Manors, the gayest place on planet Earth. When everything returns to normal, come to South Florida because you're going to want to travel. And where you're going to want to travel to is here in South Florida and eat at Bubbles and Pearls and meet Chef Josie and Marcy, her wife. We're thinking about you a lot, and there's lots of love sitting in this room.
Sending you lots of love and strength.
All right.
Lots of strength.
Good night, and thank you, Josie. And we got a show now to do. We got to do a show.
Bye,
Get back to
bitch.
work.
Bye.
Get
Back to work. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So good evening again, America. You're watching the world's most popular live gay TV show. It's Happening Out. So many of the stories of our community are next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out.
It's a commercial-free benefit featuring Alicia Keys, Backstreet Boys, Billie Eilish, Billie Joe Armstrong, Camila Cabello, Dave Grohl,
Our new game, Saved by the Bell. It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest host, Misty Eyez. With your host, lifestyle expert NapoleonPlays. Reality TV star, Chef Josie. Trans activist, Aaron Phoenix. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. Republican political analyst, Ron Brenesky. And our moderator, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well,
Girl, what's
America, welcome to It's Happening Out. We are live. Anything can happen. I tell you, I spend so much time with this guy across the room from me.
He's talking about me.
Yeah.
Way over here.
Anything's going to come out of his mouth, and I can't stop it. We're live.
Hopefully words.
This.
Wow.
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 I'll take words out of your mouth.
Wow.
Alien.
I'll take
Wow.
words for 100.
Yes.
The world's most popular live gay TV show is what you're getting ready to watch. Last week, like 400 and some thousand of you watched. We thank you very much.
That's right. And we want to make sure that you are liking and subscribing on every page, Facebook especially. And please start that watch party. We've got a quick video to help you figure out how to do that. Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
Well, and also, we invite you to come down to South Florida, and our partner here is the Best Western at 995. All of our hosts that come in, our guests come and stay at the Best Western, except for right now. No one is staying.
Yeah, and no one's coming in. And,
yeah.
and that's for the safety of everyone because we believe in the isolation that we should be doing for
Yes,
public protocol.
absolutely. But we thank the
Yes.
Best Western I-95. We also want to let you know that we are broadcasting from our permanent set here in the middle of the World AIDS Museum and Education Center, here in the heart of Wilton Drive, Wilton Manors, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We always, always, always take the opportunity of making the joke. We are broadcasting from the gayest place on planet Earth, and the addition of Chris and Misty proves that once and for all.
Now,
You keep saying that. You keep saying that, but I keep telling you, I'm not a lesbian.
well, I am gay, so it's okay.
Yeah, you are gay. Your husband is in the room, so I definitely know
Yeah,
you're gay.
and you're also working on the beach right now with at a resort, basically a little private paradise. That's a little gay too.
That is very
That
true.
must-
Very
Stop.
gay,
I
too.
tell people that my social distancing is a lot different from everybody else.
Yes, that's right. I'm jealous as all hell. All right. We also thank our set designers. It's all courtesy of Concepto Modern Living here in Fort Lauderdale. We thank them very much for it. We have this 12-foot table. It works great. I don't know who thought about coronavirus when we launched this on January 1st, but it's worked out perfectly. We want to remind you that we are part of the Happening Out television network, and our other show is Q News Tonight. It's daily at 7 p.m. It is live, and we always point out, literally, we say that Q News Tonight is out of the closet and into the headlines. It's a show that does national and world LGBT news. It is really, honestly, I think you would find quite amazing. And it's the only show like it for the LGBT community in the entire world. It's principally broadcast in YouTube, which is much more difficult than Facebook. And last week, nearly 100,000 people watched Q News Tonight. So we thank you.
I will admit that it is kind of challenging to be funny and optimistic when some of our headlines right now are so grim. But I'm proud to be filling in for Aaron Dar while he is out for the meanwhile on Q News. And we are doing our best to make the headlines entertaining and fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fun to have you on, seriously.
Oh, thank you.
And the jury's still out for me.
That's okay.
Well,
That's,
Al's not very
I
good at
will
talking.
win you over. I will win you. If I have to bring treats,
Treats. All right.
cannolis or something, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Do it for the
Broccoli, corn.
Bribing for votes. Good.
Carrots,
Nice.
right.
I don't like.
sanitizer, masks.
Okay, let's dive right into the show and let's have some fun. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, but let's have fun. America and the host here, let's take a deep breath. It's not all what we hear all 24 hours a day. Let's have some fun. And we're going to do that by beginning with the meme of the week. I haven't seen this myself. Let's look at the meme of the week. The meme of the week is quarantine couples right now. That is absolutely, you should come to my house. That is.
Oh my God, they're so adorable.
That
Watching
really
me and
hits
Aaron
home,
Dar.
doesn't it?
Oh my God.
Chris, is that you and David?
Actually, it was earlier today.
Oh.
And we came together, and I called him back over and said, okay, we only have each other here, so we have to make this good.
And you have lots of rooms you could you could spread out. They in addition to Breaking Rules Publishing, they manage a beachfront hotel here, small guest house-ish like hotel. So there's plenty of space. I actually, when I watch that video and I think about you and you tell me that, I can completely understand David being like that. It's completely.
He would be the one on the bed because the other guy walking around wouldn't work for him.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's like there. Find the metaphor.
David Rule, look him up on Facebook.
You know, they have said that domestic violence is on an incredible high right now because we are being
is it?
quarantined with our partners.
Oh.
And some of us are married for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I personally have not had that, thank God, knock on wood. My husband and I are getting along very well during this quarantine, but he has rubbed me the wrong way occasionally. And I think that happens when we are locked in confined spaces.
You know, it's funny that you say that. This week, somebody, I didn't even tell you this, somebody this week made a joke of saying, you and Napoleon bicker with each other like you're an old married couple. And I said, well, I assure you, in coronavirus, if that was true, I would be in prison because Napoleon would be dead.
Old. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on that. Old. Come on. I just turned 30. Shame, gay people.
All right. Right. All right. Let's play our game, I'd Swallow That. We're going to ask you some questions, and we're going to do some shots. Look, you're in social isolation, sequestered in your home in isolation. Pull out a beer, pull out some whiskey or tequila. Josie is going to play right along with us right now as she's watching, and she is going to do tequila. I guarantee you.
I'm sure this quarantine is driving her to drink.
I love it, Josie. Exactly. That's right. So we're going to play I'd Swallow That. I'm going to ask a question. If you agree, and you agree with the question, you take the shot. If you don't, you put the shot down. That's how we play it. Chris, Misty, you understand?
I do.
I'd Swallow That. Cheers. Okay, here we go. Now, you're supposed to wait for the question.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm in
Drum roll.
Prepared.
Here we
You
go.
gotta be prepared. Set yourself up for success.
That's right.
All right, here we go. I'd swallow that. Question number one.
Okay.
I'm doing okay during social distancing because of the people I live with.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So I have two roommates, and I've been doing really well with them, actually, because we've come together like a family. We've had family meals. We've been doing things, helping each other out. It's a hard time for everyone, and we're trying to be the best and be there for each other. I see Al's not taking a shot. But I had a fight with him earlier today. Like, right within, fine, go to... Al, why aren't you getting along? How much of your dirty laundry are you going to air?
Yeah, why the hesitation?
I have no idea what you are asking about. Wait, I want to parlay.
Are you doing okay?
We're all trying.
We're all trying. And okay could be interpreted not amazing.
Yes, exactly.
Not amazing.
I'm doing okay.
Now, with all the space that you're living in, social distancing shouldn't be really a problem.
It's not. No. It's not a problem at all. The lucky thing for me is that Dave and I are a really good team. Beyond the fact that he's handsome and built, is also a really good plus. So
really,
yeah,
you had to do that.
Is he going to be in the Shag Marry Chop at the end of this episode?
All right. Let's continue. I'd swallow that. Question number 2. While stuck at home, I have discovered new things. I'm doing that shot.
I'll say yes. I wasn't going to say yes at first, but I will tell you I've turned into a little Betty Crocker. during this quarantina. Miss Quarantina has got me cooking.
By the way, I'm gluten-free, so whatever you want to bake, I'm happy to try it out. Just make sure it's
I'm
gluten-free.
carb-free, so...
What are you making?
Well, I'm making for my husband.
Oh, okay, fine. Fine, I won't there. Are you guys doing anything new?
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free. I can't
what
eat
if-
gluten. It's my challenge in life, and right now it's first world problems that I'm happy to take on.
It's one of those diseases.
Bread is a necessity.
Right.
I'm just here to
Bread's
say
there.
bread is
There's
necessity.
gluten-free bread. You just won't want to eat it.
What have you discovered new?
We went to Italy last year, and we tried really hard to
Wait.
wait. We tried really hard to learn how to speak Italian. We failed miserably. So now we're gonna.
When
rip
Christopher
that.
says he went to Italy last year, they both packed their bags and said, let's try moving to Italy and seeing what's
Moving?
like living
We
there.
went there, yeah.
How long were you there?
For 2 months.
2 months. They just said, let's go try.
So you wanted to move there, but only lasted 2 months?
The problem was their internet situation because I work online, so I have to have that. And when that's gone, and you have like 3 or 4 hours a day, that's sucky.
And this is a little known fact. There was this guy named Luigi that got between them.
Oh
and
my
they-
god!
I just went Super Mario super quickly.
And for the safety
The
of your
dreams that
marriage.
happen in your head are amazing.
I'm sure. I mean, obviously, we're talking about Italy right now. Our hearts go out to everybody there experiencing
Yes,
what we
yes.
are. But I have to say that you must be happy to be here now, even if it's
Oh,
all up
absolutely.
in the air.
Absolutely.
rather than being
We have a
across
couple
the
of
seas.
people that we actually met when over there, and we've touched base with them, and they are just when we feel our social distancing
Yeah,
is
they're in
intruding on
lockdown.
our lives. They're really locked
they're
in.
definitely locked
They are not.
Napoleon, I'm curious, what have you discovered new?
I've discovered how amazing it is to nap. I have
Nap?
taken a nap.
A nap?
I am generally a biphasic sleeper. My natural circadian rhythm of sleep wants me to sleep a little bit in the beginning of the day.
Americans
Okay,
going
middle of
off.
the
okay,
day.
so wait. Okay, so wait.
Biphasic.
So wait. We're 30 years old.
Circadian.
We're gluten free.
Yeah.
And we nap.
Like
I'm a
today.
millennial. Okay,
Like
Oh,
a
sorry.
senior
My God,
citizen, though.
I can't remember the last time I napped.
All right.
You work on a beach, dude.
All right.
That's
So
not
you,
It's
so
true.
you've discovered that you like to sleep.
That it's helpful, and it makes me a little bit more sane, which is why you've been able to tolerate me the last 3 days.
Really? Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
It's all it takes. I just need a nap. You just a snack and a nap. It's like a child. You just got to do that.
How long do you nap?
Like honestly, it's only for about an hour, a little less, 45 minutes. It's just one cycle, but it's done a lot. I just can't fall asleep very quickly.
Is learned anything else? Discovered anything else new?
How much faith I have in this country, quite honestly. Not necessarily the leaders, but the people, the workers that are doing so much for us on a day-to-day basis. There are so many people that might not be doing the right thing, and that's frustrating, but there are so many people that are doing things to help out, offering charitable donations, doing whatever they can to just do their part. I've never been alive during anything of that nature, and it's really amazing to see a country come together.
Knowing Napoleon, like I know Napoleon America, I've set him up twice for him to explain to you that he's discovered it's very hard not to have sex.
I learned that this week. I figured we'd be talking about that several times. Maybe it's what's on my mind. But I have had some challenges with this. I know a lot of the conversations that you and I have had have been about how difficult it is to just not interact with people at all, but especially not in a sexual way. Because there's something that, especially when you live in South Florida and you just have pickings of everything you want,
It's like a
anything you want,
buffet here.
all the
Yeah.
time. It's really just such a change to go from that to not being able to do anything, and even more because others out there are still doing so much. On Grindr, you'll get on it, and people are still interacting like it's normal frequently. Even the app itself only does a little bit to deter that, and it's frustrating because I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to explain what's going on, but I've learned that it's either ignorance or selfishness that keeps people going out.
Well, you do need social interaction. You do need human connection, but that has to become a little different now. And I do agree. Like, even here on the set, we're like total sanitation, distance. And the first couple days I came here on set, I wanted like, hey, like, and then all of a sudden Napoleon and I are like, oh, don't touch me. Like, it's
Christopher walked into the set tonight. And we said, "Oop,
Yeah,
I had my
mask.
mask.
You touch nothing. We
went to
have
be like,
these
hey,
rules."
I'm like, don't.
No, we did the elbow thing.
That's right. All right, let's continue. I'd swallow that. Question number 3: all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
I can't drink for this one, you guys.
So this is that we have to play.
Yes.
Can
Oh, are
I
you gonna do
agree
it?
with it?
not? Can I not? My name is NapoleonPlays. Am I like we're gonna take a shot? There you go.
So,
I'm
why can't you?
Well, okay, maybe I misread the question wrong. Okay, so all work and no play. All I'm doing right now is working. Like, literally, I'm working from home.
So that's why you wouldn't take the shot, because you're a dull boy.
There you go.
Maybe you'd be less dull with the shot.
I'll just be a dull
Did I make a
individual.
trans joke?
You did a transphobic.
That's what Aaron had to put him through for a year and a half. This is
all right.
the
Oh my
improved
God.
out.
Yeah, that's right. Aaron Phoenix beat that out of me. Right.
You know, when you're facing oppression, you have to realize tone and intent.
Yeah.
And I know your tone and your intention was not
Right,
offensive.
right.
And I choose not to be offended.
Yeah, very
Some
good.
people in my community are a little more sensitive.
Now, let's return back to you being a dull boy.
Speaking of that,
That was intentional.
so what have you guys been doing to play? I'm always curious what people are doing to play. I'm obsessed with play.
Well, I will freely admit this. In a non-sexual world that is going on in coronavirus, friends of mine have made suggestions of digital things that will interest you beyond just basic porn. And Napoleon is one of the people who put me on a website, and we had conversation about this today.
I'm telling you now, it's filth.
Well, of course.
I talked to lots of people all over the world. And
You talk to them, or you watch them. There's a difference.
Well, more
Is there
importantly, they watched.
communication?
More importantly, they watched me.
Ah.
But I had a rule last night. For example, I got onto this site, and I thought it would just be interesting. And if something interesting happened, okay, well, fine, something interesting happened. But I had a no North American rule. And the only people that I was going to talk to, it flashes through and flashes through and flashes through. And it was kind of interesting. Not the sexual stuff, but the interaction of people from all over the world. And I talked to people in Australia. I talked to people in Asia. There was a guy from Vietnam. I talked to a person in Amsterdam and in Copenhagen and in Moscow. The most interesting things in the play here was people in Muslim countries in the Middle East, in Jordan, in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait. I talked to somebody in Iraq. And it was interesting because they're gay guys that are in the exact same situation, and people are going, well, we can't do what we would normally do, so we're implementing this in a different way. And I have to say, that was kind of interesting. Not the video, porn is way better because you're seeing exactly what you want. This is live, etc. But it was interesting. And it was a
people
new
talk
play.
back to you, surprisly. That's the shock for me. People actually answered Al. Most people don't do that.
It reminds me of It's a Small World after all. Because
Napoleon.
we're all in this together, and it's
Oh.
shocking that
Wait.
no matter where you are
Misty,
in the world,
you're
we're
talking about to our audience something completely different than all of us thought you
talking about.
immediately
Yeah,
were
so-
talking
same
about.
page, different book.
Right.
Dumbledore dies on 647.
Way
All right.
different.
All right, let's move on. I'd swallow that question number 4.
All right.
I feel serene in my chastity during quarantine.
I can't drink this one
But
either.
I cannot drink this one.
I want to throw this at you. What a damn foolish question.
Wait.
But I
Chastity
will
is not
say
for people
this
that have
is-
come out and expressed their sexual desires and their needs and their frustrations as we do on a day-to-day basis. And talking about it, it helps, they say, or does something. It doesn't really do anything.
Are you
It's just gonna
surprised?
keep going.
I'm curious because you are hypersexual. Of course, we always joke about that.
Young female.
But generally, here at the table, are you surprised about how sexual we are, humans in general, but LGBT community specifically? Are you surprised how sexual we are, and coronavirus has just brought that right to the surface?
I think you don't realize what you're missing until it's taken away from you. Like, for example, when we first walked into the set today, I was like, I've taken smells for granted. And now that we've all come so very close to COVID-19, I'm like, smell. Like, I walked into my house the other day and it smelled like hamburgers. We were cooking hamburgers and I went outside for a walk and I'm like, my house smells like hamburgers. And I'm like, yes, I get to smell again. Like, I'm not that I was ever taken away, but now I've taken things for granted that now I'm really thankful for things that should be normal.
Yeah, and you're talking about senses. I've said it many times. Sexuality is a sense. It's a way that we perceive the world. And honestly, it feels like I just lost my sense of hearing or another sense just as vital, because a way that I learned, that I was awakened to feel my way through, and I don't mean that physically, I guess I do, through the world, to understand what it means has been taken away. A part of myself.
Touch me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Please.
I will put the Rocky shorts on if that's what it takes.
Just somebody touch.
It's an interesting observation there, because for me, the chastity issue that is going on, if you follow the COVID recommendations, you're unless you're in a completely locked 100% relationship, you're not having sexual relationships. You just can't. It's a violation of CDC recommendations. It's risky, et cetera, and so on. Wait. The issue of the chastity is, prior to this, if you talk that way, if you express, Napoleon has expressed sexuality observations over and over again in the year and a half that we've done the show together, but frequently in the LGBT community and in the American inhuman community, we label words like slut and promiscuous and. And I wonder if we're not going to learn out of this, we all like sex. And it's not a question of there's right or wrong. It's a question of what is good for you. And you don't get to decide anymore what's good for me. That's what we're...
I have always been sex positive. I've always been sex positive. And I have never, and I don't believe in slut shaming, let's put it that way, at all.
Even right now? Because I know I've shamed people that are being sluts right now, and that are going out and being irresponsible toward other people.
Well, explain why.
Because right now it's a matter of public health. It's not about you individually. It's not just about any individual person. If you have anyone that is considered vulnerable, anyone that's over the age of 60 or has a health condition that would be a predisposed condition for this, then yes, it is irresponsible to go out, because you either just don't know what's happening and how easily this virus is spread, or you're just so selfish or lost in the moment that you really don't care enough to not go out.
So, but wait, this isn't new, because there are people who are having HIV parties so that you can go in and you can infect it. This isn't new. This is something that's just been around forever.
Bug chasers.
Exactly.
That would harm you, not the environment around you, and that's a little bit of the difference.
That is true.
That is true. I'll give you that.
Well, serene in our chastity, during quarantine.
This is no.
No one, definitely a no.
I'm not.
However, as soon as we move out of I Swallow That, I'm going to do my shot, no matter what. All right, let's move on to some celebrity hot topics. Tell you some of the things that are in the news that we think is interesting at It's Happening Out. First off, our first topic tonight is Elton John's living room concert to America. It brought digital performances to the absolute mainstream. We've prepared a video on this. Watch this.
Fox presents a commercial-free benefit featuring Alicia Keys, Backstreet Boys, Billie Eilish, Billie Joe Armstrong, Camila Cabello, Dave Grohl, Her, Mariah Carey, Sam Smith, Tim McGraw, and more. Hosted by Elton John, simulcast across America. The iHeart Living Room Concert for America, tonight at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, presented by Fox.
Well, we're seeing this left and right because there is no entertainment. In South Florida, for example, all of our performance venues,
Broadway
all
is shut
of our
down,
bars,
AMC, every movie theater, everything is shut down.
As a result, drag queens and other performers have been doing it now for a few weeks and more growing. Have you supported any of them? What do y'all think about what's going on in terms of entertainment?
I think that this is like We Are the World on steroids. This is fantastic, and I really think that it's a wonderful thing, and I hope that more people jump on the bandwagon and start to support this.
I think this is awesome. I think this is brilliant. I think this is amazing. And a lot of the entertainers here in South Florida have definitely jumped on their own live feeds and put their Venmos and their Cash Apps and their but their Send Me Money funds. And one of my friends, Amanda Austin, is online doing cooking shows as celebrities. And that's really...
Oh, that's funny.
That is funny. So,
is it entertaining?
It is entertaining. It is fun. And I definitely think you should tune in and tip these entertainers. But tipping drag queens in South Florida has been a problem for a very long time. So if you are not financially crunched yourself, please support the local drag queens.
That's true, but I'm actually going to take the opposite approach. I love that people are doing this to come together, but in our regular life, pre-corona, I know that we went to a lot of events. We do a show, Happening.Fun, that has been put on hold because it would be irresponsible to promote going out right now. And one of the things that we have been doing a lot of, me personally, personally is doing the opposite. My sense of healing right now is to disconnect from those things. Yeah, they're there, but over the weekend, when I get home, when I have moments away, I don't want to be watching everything like life is normal. I want to be remembering what we're doing and then disconnect. I'm going to play some games, I'm going to read a book, and I'm going to actually heal myself right now.
I'm curious, in terms of this strategy about in-home digital performances, how is your Just for Fans program going?
I'm still working on it, but I will make sure that next week when it's up, it's going to be Patreon, not Just for Fans. That I have all of you there that can support me in whatever ways if you want to talk or do something else. I'm half serious about this.
I was only making a joke.
I know, but money is money, and I'm half serious about this. So like we have Trump as president. What am I going to do? You know, I hear that song playing in my head.
Oh my God.
You've got to do your
That's
best.
funny.
If I can help people, I want to be helping people.
Yeah.
And you feel
Wait,
that
not naked.
And you feel that
coming to just not naked.
No.
You added that. I was going to say
only from the waist up.
up.
If you watch my videos, only from the waist up.
Okay.
Who's going to pay for that? I'm serious.
I agree with you. Who is going to pay for that?
Oh my goodness.
No, but seriously, you have been on your, what's that called, stories on
Facebook
social
stories?
media. Yeah, standing there shirtless and being like, hey, everyone, I'm beautiful.
That's
and
free, by the way.
Stay home for free.
That's
So
free.
now you want to do this for money.
Well, that's just to promote the public policies that people should be doing right now. Because
No,
honestly, everyone should be doing that.
I'm applauding you for doing this. I think you should keep doing this. But now you want to charge people to do this?
Well, maybe I'll upgrade it. You know, I'll trust you and your background in drag and all of your performance background, and you can help me figure out what it is that can help us, or maybe we'll donate it or something.
Maybe for your
cause.
Just fans, you should put a mirror behind you and go bottomless and do the ass shots.
My mom
You know,
watches this show.
America,
Not your fans only.
America, I just want to tell you, this is why I love my job so much. I make a joke question, and it leads to these
Drama.
I'm just a stirrer. I'm just a stirrer.
As the
Let's-
chili burger.
Little witch.
Let's continue
Red.
on a second hot topic in celebrity this week, and we report about Bad Bunny's new video celebrating queer culture, and it sends a message of consent. You all saw this in terms of what Bad Bunny is doing. What did y'all think about this?
I know that a lot of people have stated that it's an appropriation of culture or possibly even a misuse of it. I honestly don't know if I agree with that. I think that as someone that is a part of our culture, that you want to embrace all of it. As far back as any kind of David Bowie, a lot of performers that have been a little bit more on the drag or the side of being a little bit more flamboyant have done this for a very long time. I don't think that this is just queer culture. I think that this has kind of escalated to be a little outside of just that and become just part of human culture at this point.
Yeah, is it interesting to you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, anytime people are moving, and I mean, right now we're watching him in chains in a distracting image from the side, of course that's interesting to me, but it doesn't mean that that's all that it's about, and ideally, when you can get past that and create something that's a little bit deeper, it creates a little bit more art and a little bit more conversation. We're talking about it now on the most popular live gay TV show in the world, so, I mean, kudos, Bad Bunny.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's colorful. And I think that it's tongue-in-cheek and having a lighthearted entertainment fun. I absolutely applaud this, and I think it's amazing.
You know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking how amazing it is that we can actually do something like that. I mean, I'm older than all of you, shockingly.
Oh, that was a pause for dramatic effect. I like that.
But I do also like the message that just crossed the screen. If she doesn't want to dance with you, fine, let her twerk alone. We're
Exactly.
all Miss Quarantina right now, honey. Just stay by yourself. That's all right.
You're dropping the name Misty Eyez, I hear.
That's
Just
it.
go from his
You know, it's funny to me because as I look at this and this kind of entertainment, even what Elton John's doing at the very top end, and there's everything in between. I mean, you see drag queens. It's
Caliber.
like the
farther than this,
the
too.
celebrity cooking for a drag queen doing a celebrity cooking. I mean, that's really ingenious. We're watching everything. It's an interesting thing, however, because I wonder if 4 months ago we would have even batted an eye at the kinds of things that we're watching on the internet. And the only reason why we are now is because we have literally
Really
nothing else to do.
Which is why everyone's watching the administration.
Yeah,
That.
exactly. Watching the
TikTok.
daily briefing or TikTok, right?
A million messages from
Or
TikTok every day.
the White House daily briefing.
Exactly.
The numbers are humongous.
Yeah.
Who is watching?
And Trump will go off on how that's the most important thing. The ratings of what it's doing right now. It's the most important.
Yeah.
That's because we have a celebrity host TV show
Yeah,
host.
that's right.
Yes.
President.
Yeah, a real
Not a
estate
leader.
agent.
Not a leader, you're absolutely
Reality show host, right?
On
Absolutely. Speaking of entertaining, let's move out of celebrity celebrity hot topics. And we do a segment every week at It's Happening Out called the Best Thing of the Week. I do not have access to this. I don't know what we're getting ready to see. But like the barking dogs, implying that is who Napoleon is, which that was who Napoleon was, the best thing of the week is called Miami Quarantine Balcony Party. And we're going to show this to you now. That is awesome.
How
Completely.
cool is that? I
Yeah.
think it's fantastic.
Yeah. America, you may not know, although you probably do. Ultra is one of the biggest music festivals in the world.
Electronic dance music.
Yes.
Electronic
EDM.
dance music, and it's done at the Bayfront Park in downtown Miami. It's an incredible event. It is a humongous event, and Ultra has been postponed/canceled. Many of our events that have said that they're postponed, they have absolutely no idea what's going to be next because we don't know what's going to be next in Corona. This is really interesting, though, that if I would have watched this 5 months ago, I would have asked how many calls to the police were there made.
Exactly.
No, I thought my first thought was the same thing. What about the old people that live there? But in this current time, and this is a true definition of making lemonade.
You know they're letting it go. It's okay.
Yeah.
They're letting it go.
My favorite thing about this was that it's clearly available online for anyone that has access to that. And you said that you didn't have access to it, Al. So clearly that just has your disconnect from the internet right there. That landed. Everyone laughed.
No.
Wait, let's let's do a quick flash poll.
I'm going to play the
Does-
ace card. That's fine.
Can we bring up that idea of It's Happening Out flash poll? Let's take a quick vote. Is right? Thank you. Production's telling me we've got it. Is Napoleon's humor landing? Napoleon?
Yes.
Misty.
See? There I go.
Misty. Yes
I
or
have
no?
laughed on occasion.
Yes or no? Yes
Sure,
or no?
sure.
Oh,
No, I don't know. Don't you throw pretty.
He's trying to debait you into
Chris?
feeling
No.
other ways.
And Al says no.
Your longtime friend and someone you just conned.
All right. Let's.
He has occasionally brought a laugh or two.
Well, he's been here a year and a half. It's about time. In a year and a half. Come on. Twice. All right. Let's move out of Best Thing of the Week and move to What's on Your Mind. In this segment, we ask the host what's on your mind. And sometimes it might surprise you. We're going to ask them to tell us in about 30 seconds. If it goes too long, I might ring a bell. But tell us. Chris, let's start with you. What's on your mind this week? In 30 seconds.
It's going to be easy. It's the White House briefings. And what I would like to see happen is the reporters to turn their back and say, I don't want to hear your lies anymore, and I'm going to walk out. And I'm going to go and get the doctor's information, and I'm going to pull that in, and I'm going to report that. Because that's all anyone's actually waiting for. That's all they're listening to. And I really think that if the reporters would just turn their backs on him and say, I got nothing for you, I don't want any more, he would implode, and then it would be over.
You know, just an interruption of what's on your mind a moment, just to provide observation of what the real conversations to Chris's aggravation and suggestion. The White House Press Association, I watched the president, an ABC reporter that got shamed by the president this week. There is significant conversation that if the president shames one of the reporters in terms of shouting them down, whatever question that they ask, the next reporter that is selected asks the exact same question.
Oh, wow.
They're discussing that among all of the White
It's
House
time.
correspondents.
They took control of that room and said, enough.
Yes.
It's just like a union. You have to make sure these questions get answered because
I've got
it's not
your
about
back.
Or better yet, we're all in this together. We're wanting information from you. Why are you treating me this way? I'm asking you a decent question. The least you can do is answer it. And if
I got your back.
then find someone else who can.
The National Association of Broadcasters, the second principal thing that is being discussed here is that they stop broadcasting the White House briefing live, and that they broadcast it 30 minutes or 60 minutes afterwards, where in the ridiculousness of what the president is saying, that they've had time to prepare to say, of whoever the expert is. Here's what the fact is of what you've just heard.
Wow.
And minimize the president's ability to basically lie and use it as a campaign rally.
And he's still, as of today, 49% in the lead on the polls.
Yeah, his
Having
polls have
said
increased.
that, if you're having to make those things or those corrections, why is that man still there?
Yeah, but
We have November.
November 3rd, it's the central question that's going to come. I kind of violated the rules there. I apologize. Misty Eyez, what is on your mind this week?
Obviously, we are in quarantine. Last week, I was a special guest as well on this show, and I talked about respecting yourself, protecting yourself, respecting social guidelines, staying home, but getting out of the house. You have to get out of the house at least twice, 3 times a week. Go outside, see the sun, see the stars. Without all the fog and smog, the stars in Fort Lauderdale are so much brighter. The fish you can see in the canals now because all the boats have stopped. But also, today's what's on my mind is do something productive. And what I have done personally this week is I've started to learn Spanish on Duolingo. Every day I'm trying to learn.
God, I love Duolingo.
Yeah.
And Napoleon, what's on your mind?
So what's been on my mind is about the conservative nature that we're coming into in our country, but more specifically that it's a very difficult time economically for a lot of different people. Right now, obviously, is the first of the month, and there are people that were just laid off, many, many people. And there's rent that's due. There's all sorts of stimulus packages that are coming, but they haven't arrived yet. And there are a lot of people that are reliant on food stamps. And this is the first of the month. The next couple of days, if you don't have to shop, it is really recommended that you don't. If you need something, go out, but if you really don't have to, there's 2 reasons not to. The first is that if people are on food stamps, this is the time that they're going to get their supplies.
Exactly.
It's when they just got their refill, and they really probably need them. A lot of them are families that need to get them. But also because a lot of those same people are at higher risk for catching corona. So if you're going out unnecessarily, then you might be putting them at risk. A lot of them don't have health care. They're on food stamps. And just, if you really care, now's the time to show it and wait off a couple days to go shopping.
I never thought about
I never thought
those
that either.
It's true.
observations.
It's
That's
true.
really interesting. What's on my mind this week is how am I going to survive this?
You will.
I made the comment yesterday when we were preparing for Q News Tonight. I've never been through anything like this. I lived 9/11. I had guests directly involved in 9/11. I was directly involved with Windows on the World at top of Trade Center 2. I have never been through anything like this. Katrina, Andrew, 9/11. The economic collapse in 2008, I haven't been through anything like this. America feels like it's crashing. It feels like it's crashing. We know for sure that our social isolation is going to go on at least another month. That's probably not accurate.
More.
And I'm consciously going, oh my God, how am I going to do this for another month? Now, the answer is, of course, Misty's answer. You're just going to. But right now, I'm in the formulation of the beginning stages of going, I have never experienced anything like this in my life. This is totally foreign, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. I will. I'll figure it out. But right now, I'm in total flux of I don't know how it's going to be possible. But I'm going to dedicate to
I think
try
a lot
to
of people
figure
are feeling that way, but have to just as
Interesting.
well.
I wonder your surroundings are causing that. I don't have. You and I are the same age, and you and I have gone through a lot of the same things. I was in 9/11. I know exactly what you're talking about. There was a time there where you say this is all going to go, and there was a moment when you got back to your life and you could see that happening. This is very unclear. So you're right. You don't know what's going to go on, but and my situation is I'm living out at the beach. I have all this place. I have all this room, and I have the water the great view. You need to come over more often.
Yeah, I do. I do. But that's what's on my mind this week. Let's move into one of the major things that we wanted to talk about. And it's April Fool's Day. We started with that. We told you it was off. America, we clue you in on a little secret that we did at Q News Tonight, also tonight. We were going to play an April Fool's joke tonight at It's Happening Out and report on something that was completely outrageous and completely false, but believable to you, and we were going to trick you and do an April Fool's joke. And we decided not to because we thought, maybe that's in bad taste. And one of the reasons that we thought maybe it's in bad taste is you are watching in social media a hyper eating frenzy going on of every possible side of every possible issue on every single thing. And so as a result, we thought, we don't want to wade into that and do an April Fool's joke. And many, many other organizations, including Google, which has been the best in the world at it for a long, long time, said, no, not this year. So tricking people can be fun, but there are times we have taken it too far, or someone has gone too far with it, or with me, or presumably with you. What do you think about where we are in political correctness and April Fool's jokes? And how that washes over.
I think we're at a point that everyone already feels like they've been fooled for a while. I mean, we've had our leadership for a long time that doesn't feel like they've been leadership. And we're at a point where it's just coming to such a crux after all this time that we've seen nothing happen. And now literally we've seen the administration do nothing with this for 2 months. I don't think anyone feels like they haven't already been fooled. We've all been fooled for a long time going into this. And at some point, you just have to acknowledge that it feels like it's already gone too far. I think that our level of being fed up is so far across the spectrum and so high up there that no one wants to do anything that might be foolish, because a lot of times that's really just an excuse to be mean.
What do y'all think?
I will agree with you to a point. I think that it's time for all of us to chill out and relax a bit, because everywhere you go, you're right, everywhere you go, someone's got something negative to say, or they're running into the back of you at the grocery store and they're not apologizing. They don't know how to do that anymore. Everyone's manners are gone, and you just need to chill out. Just relax.
But how do we accomplish that?
Well,
So we're going to have to bring something. I mean, people are just going to have to laugh, or you're going to have to teach them, or I don't know.
everyone can
You're
learn
just gonna have
social
to
media to be better,
you're gonna
be
have to
better
teach,
at it.
You're going to have to reteach people how to be nice to each other.
Did I just hear you say that basically my strategy of poking fun and of the ridiculousness of Napoleon Plays
Is
a
the way
very
to go.
do?
It's the
That's
way to
literally-
go.
I
That's what you
knew.
heard?
I knew I liked
It's
Christopher.
the way to go.
When you see that color on screen right now, I see green. What do you see? Red? I feel like that's got to be true based on what you just said. Have you been a big prankster, Misty,
Have I been
in your life?
Yeah, of course. But I do think there's a time and a place. And right now, I think nerves are fried. I think that people are extremely sensitive right now. And my husband's also a big prankster. And we both have really calmed down because of everyone's frantic and everyone's like, calm down. Too sensitive. That's what I'm looking for. Neurotic, too sensitive, the nerves are fried. Just relax. I'm glad most people took April Fools off.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting.
Does that mean you're going to be nice now,
No.
Al? Can I get it on camera?
Always nice.
I got a yes. They're going to be nice from now on.
Always nice.
All right, we'll
All
do that
right.
later.
He's nice.
Yeah.
It's just not that you appreciate it.
Yeah, that's
Why did we have you here?
Wait.
I didn't know personal
my,
cheerleaders
My
were allowed.
IFB is saying, this is from the executive producer, Chris, you're being offered a permanent host at It's Happening.
They need a new lifestyle expert, it sounds like.
All right. All right. We want to move on to Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell is a fun, hopefully fast-paced news topics of the day. Here's our bell, red and blue. You decide which side you're on. And it's a lightning round of LGBTQ topics in the news this week or other headlines, and we're going to give you an LGBT perspective of them. Each of these topics are going to be 60 to 90 seconds in discussion only on each topic. And when we get to the end of that, I'm going to ring the bell and the host must stop instantly. Now it says 60 to 90 seconds because fortunately the moderator at It's Happening Out has some flexibility. It's called the Napoleon Rule. And if
The Napoleonic Code is a thing. We can go by that.
It's true.
if they bore me or I think they're boring you, then I can stop it whenever I want between 60 and 90 seconds. Everybody understand our rules?
Yes.
We're getting ready to play. Now we've done this game for about 5 months. Do you understand now?
I don't know. Why don't you explain it again?
All right. We're going to play Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Boy.
Yes.
Ooh, not for
Saved
2 more
by the
months.
Boy. Don't wind him up. You'll wind him up. Saved by the Bell. Story number 1. The world announced today that we may run out of condoms due to COVID-19, according to the world's largest manufacturer of condoms.
Yeah, we're supposed to be already at 50% of our stock right now, and there's going to be less condoms. People are clearly having a lot of sex right now as they're in isolation, and I'm not freaked out about it. We've got a little bit, but how long is this going to last? How long is it before they start making more condoms?
No.
How do you make personal condoms?
Napoleon is totally lying. He is totally freaking out.
Oh
He
my
is in
God.
isolation for 2 months with no sex. He's going to come out just when the world crisis of no condoms
He's
exists.
going like
He's
this.
going just
I'm already like
What
that
do I
right
do?
now and all the time.
I do think there are a lot of hurricane babies during hurricane isolation.
I was just gonna say, there's
and I
gonna be a
do
lot
think
of
there's going to be a
pregnancies.
lot of quarantina babies.
Oh,
So
there
the
will
baby
be.
boomers are going to pop out worldwide. So watch out.
You know,
Sure.
we're principally talking to the LGBT community and mostly gay men. There's not going to be a lot of babies. There's probably going to be a lot of sex.
But at least they're
Because
having,
but babies don't live.
at least they're having safe sex.
Sex. Maybe
At least
maybe
it's
there's
safe.
going to be. Never mind. That's great. I can't say.
Respect
that.
yourself, protect yourself, and if you can't get access to condoms, there is something called PrEP, pre-exposure prophylactic. Please look it up, and if you need help, I can help you get some.
Yeah. Napoleon, any final thoughts of the hell that you're getting ready to experience in the next 4 months?
It can't be that much different than having known you for the last few months. So every new month is a new journey. We'll figure it out. We'll get through it, and we'll get through it together. And if that means that you can't do anything that way, but it just has to be, you know, in the mouth, then that's what it'll be.
Wow.
I wasn't expecting that. So, all right.
All right.
We're done. All right. Saved by the Bell, story number 2. Twinks for Trump. Now, let me tell you about this organization. Twinks for Trump is the Milo Breitbart group of friends that are the uber conservative gay guys. Twinks for Trump founder had a potluck recently to specifically spread the coronavirus because it was fake. What do y'all think?
See, I told you. This is the way this is. These stupid people want to spread this virus. They're idiots.
Idiots. Ignorance.
I think this person should be arrested
Oh
and
my
put
God.
in jail. Also, he's 31. He is not a twink.
You know, this is one of those things. He's called the poor man's Milo Yiannopoulos because he is just that. He is just an internet troll, and that's all he wants to do. He wants to troll. He wants to use that as a means to promote himself. He literally got paid in the past to ask silly questions to as a reporter, just to be able to throw people off and to be able to inundate our resources and the small amount of time we actually have to speak to the president, who will communicate nothing anyway. He is a waste of space, and he honestly is a poison to our community.
Tell us how you really feel.
Answer. I don't know the guy, but help me. Is he actually a Trump supporter, or
yeah.
does he just do
Uber.
this because he needs to have the attention?
Milo, who ran Breitbart, the English gay guy,
Right.
is the same thing. There's this whole circle of people in this gays for Trump kind of philosophy.
How's that
They're
possible?
far more conservative than the log cabin Republicans that are uber Trumpsters. They don't even identify as Republicans. They are Trumpsters. And
They're just trolls. Like,
yeah.
that's all they are. They're just selfish, and they are into whatever they're looking for themselves.
Yeah.
That's it.
How would you like to be the president of the United States and have your name associated with Twinks for Trump? Wouldn't that?
I think he's of the mindset that any press is good
Any
press.
press is good press.
Yeah.
And the
My
ratings,
name was
they're
mentioned.
tuning in. Yeah.
Name is mentioned.
The
my
reality
It's on the
show.
wall.
The reality show even extends to Twinks for Trumps.
Amazing.
Interesting. All right, let's move on to story number 3 in Saved by the Bell. Legendary trans Latinx activist Lorena Borjas has passed away from COVID-19.
This is a tragic story. Yesterday was International Transgender Day of Visibility, and on that day we did lose an icon in New York City. She was known as the mother of the Latinx community. I don't know why I was trying to say Latina when we're taking up the gender. Latinx community in New York, and she fought hard for all her trans individuals and trans rights as far as taking homelessness, HIV prevention, HIV help, prison help. She is a hero in the community, and unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot more of these stories of heroes' lives being taken by this disgusting disease.
So maybe people that looked up to her can use this as a means to be promoting themselves and the trans needs right now. Obviously, trans rights are in a big crush in our culture and around the world, and now is a good time for other people to step up and see what they can do.
I want to take a moment to pass on, I don't know the age of Lorena Borjas, but I do want to point out in COVID-19, one of the things that are most distressing, Napoleon and I have done Q News Tonight since the first week in January, and it's been a great experience in terms of LGBT news to America and the world. But we're in a situation where with Corona, there's so much misinformation. And one of the major areas that I mentioned here to the trans community, especially because of life expectancies I've read in the mid-30s, that you're in a situation where you think if you're young, coronavirus doesn't affect you. New York City Public Health reported today that of the hotspot of the world is New York City in coronavirus, that 40% of all new transmissions are between the ages of 18 and 40. So I just remind you, COVID-19, the death rate is significant. 100 to 220,000 deaths are now the conservative estimate.
Yeah.
The liberal estimate is 1.6 to 2.2 million Americans are going to die. And 40% of the people transacting the COVID-19 are between 18 and 40. This is a serious situation that we must pay attention to.
And this just goes to show you that anybody can get this. It's just not people who are down on their luck, or people who are poor, or people who are in the wrong spot. Anybody can get
including
Andy Cohen, Chris
the Prince
Cuomo.
of Wales,
Exactly, there you are.
and the Prime Minister of
Canada.
and the Prime Minister of England. Anybody can get it.
Tom Hanks.
Let's move on to
Rand
Saved
Paul.
by the Bell. Story number 4. The Idaho governor has signed 2 bills this week that discriminate against the transgender community.
Sports are supposed to be competitive because they are actually competitive for a physical reason. It's not supposed to be competitive as a reason of law. It's not about getting behind the scenes and figuring out who has the best lawyers. I feel like you should just get people on the field and let them compete and actually do what they do. And if you're the best, let them win. And that should be it. Go watch I, Tonya if you feel like you think anything else should be the case, because it shouldn't be about all the politics with it.
Now, this bill was primarily targeted against trans women, or trans girls, specifically girls, from high school and college. And my biggest fear is that this bill is going to push all these trans children back into the shadows and back into the closets, because they are, if you know that you're struggling with transgender feelings or feeling not cisgender, you're not going to tell anybody because you want to be successful in your sport, or you want to be successful. And this rule is saying that if you are not, if your original birth certificate does not match the gender of the one-sex gender sport, you cannot participate. And how many co-ed sports are there? Not a lot.
I don't understand this ignorant governor. And I also don't understand the region. Montana, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, to an extent Iowa. This pocket of the United States seems to be doing this. And I constantly am reminded, and I constantly remind my friends, so many people say to me, what is the big deal about LGBTQ rights? We are so much better than we were ever before. And I continue to remind them, T is absolutely under attack in America. And if T is attacked, what prevents L from being attacked, or G from being attacked, or Q from being attacked? Key.
The thing I find most disgusting is this happened yesterday, and we are in the middle of a pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. And why are you focusing on trans people when you should be focusing on helping your state be safe?
Absolutely. We moved Saved by the Bell, story number 5 this week. An extreme anti-LGBTQ group in charge of the Central Park Tent Hospital forces volunteers to ignore gay rights.
If you want to volunteer, you have to essentially say that you are part of this group which believes that gay people should not have equal marriage, that trans people don't exist. The list goes on, and you have to, in order to help people, you have to admit or pledge your allegiance to this as you would in a Third Reich, to say that you don't believe these things that you do. It's absolutely disgusting.
So
What does that have to do with the cost of gas?
Exactly. The person
Seriously.
running this group is Billy Graham's son, and he is specifically targeting audiences of Christians. He wants Christians to help run this volunteer tent, which I do think is amazing, and I think that is good. But he is requiring each volunteer to do an 11-point oath of conduct. 9 of them are religious. 1 is against abortion, and 1 is against LGBTQ people. He specifically says trans people do not exist, and all gay people are damned to hell. and he does not want to help LGBTQ people at all in this tense. And he is making every volunteer screen these LGBTQ people. And the group is called Good Samaritan's Purse. Now, if I were going to remind you what Good Samaritan, the parable means, is a Jew was beaten up and stolen from and left on the side of the road. And many people passed this person, but the person that stopped was a Samaritan and helped this person. Samaritans and Jews hated each other in this time. And a good Samaritan stopped and helped. His entire organization should be helping people that he doesn't agree with. And it's okay if you don't like LGBTQ people, you should still help them.
I've never heard that story before in
good.
that way. That's great. The Saved by the Bell, story number 6, and this one is near and dear to my heart. 7 of 9, the greatest species organization ever in the Star Trek series of Borg, has been revealed to be, dun dun dun, queer.
I think we were talking about this the other day, how Star Trek is very frequently on the edge of what is going on culturally. You mentioned before how it had the first interracial kiss. Obviously, this is not the first queer couple that we've seen, but it's something that's really important. It's a character that has been redefined because we've known her from, I think it was Voyager, from Next Generation, from a couple of seasons.
Voyager.
It was just Voyager.
And now Picard.
Okay.
Right. Which is fantastic.
But she's been in a couple of things before, and now we have the opportunity to have that growth. And it's really cool to have someone that you know in a character come out, because it's kind of like a friend of yours coming out, and people that might not have had that experience now have that a little bit more because of Star Trek.
Yeah, my reaction is okay.
Historic things happening.
I think it's important
Borg.
that children have people to look up to. No matter what you look like, I think it's important to have people that look like you. If you are struggling with anything on the LGBTQ spectrum, I think it's important to have shows that represent you. You're not alone, and there are other people like you, even on TV.
A character representing a species that says, we will conquer you, resistance is futile, turns out to be queer. How can we want anything more in life than that?
Isn't that kind of like you? You're welcome.
Also queer.
All right, so that's I'm. By the way, me ringing the bell on his joke, and oh my God, I'm going to.
That was perfect.
I'm going to pay for it. So that's Saved by the Bell this week, and we do it every week. We're going to finish up the show tonight with Shag Marry Chop. And we're doing this week kind of as a tribute to Napoleon, because he's having no sex. I was going to say limited sex, but he's having no sex.
And I'm the one that doesn't speak English.
He is so
no sex.
He is
so randy that we've had to isolate him, not because of corona fears, because of any human contact. It just gets wild. So we're going to play Shag Marry Chop tonight. And the big story in the world is the ridiculousness of Joe Exotic. And Donald Trump Jr. saying his father is just like Joe Exotic.
That actually
is perfect.
Yeah, I'm
on
not
his
kidding.
Instagram.
He said it on his
the gay
Instagram.
animal breeding redneck.
So we decided, let's play a Shag Marry Chop of the husbands of Joe Exotic. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. John Finley and Travis Maldonado, sorry. Oh my goodness, over the head. And then
Come on, redneck.
Passage. All right. Oh, there are so many jokes here. All right, so those are our Shag Marry Chops, the husbands of Joe Exotic. Who wants to start? Misty, let's start with you.
Because I went to college in Oklahoma. So
Wait, let's add to that story. She not only went to college in Oklahoma, I have it on very good authority. Birdie told me that it came down to the two choices of Jerry Falwell's Liberty University,
Anti-LGBT University,
or Oral Roberts University in Oklahoma.
that is true. I will verify that it's factual. And you know
my
what's
God.
funny is I did have a full ride scholarship to go to Liberty, but I chose Oral Roberts because Liberty did not believe in speaking in tongues, and I am an evangelical Christian, and my father was like,
Wow.
as a Baptist, you don't want to go to a Baptist school because they will not enforce your religion. But also, I thought I could get healed and fixed. That's a whole nother Jerry Springer, and we'll talk about that on a different day.
And one other note before you move on to your Shag Marry Chop. It's a very good decision that you went to Oral Roberts, because if you were going to Liberty University, because you were forced back into class on Monday, you'd be catching COVID-19 left and right now.
But I also went to college in the 90s. So I probably would have been, 1994 to 1998, I would have been.
I wanted to make the Liberty University joke, which I made.
That
All right,
is true.
so tell us who you would
So
marry.
David warned me to watch at least an episode of this show.
David is a production director, coordinator here at It's Happening Out.
Right. It is an entire train wreck, this TV show. I painfully watched one entire episode. And I will say, John is pretty hot if he has his mouth shut on the show.
Why would you want his
Well,
mouth shut?
I was going to say,
That
wait,
defeats the purpose.
You
there's
haven't seen the show. You haven't seen the show. He has like 2 teeth.
no.
That makes
And-
it better. Where
wait.
the teeth are really far back.
Trans activist, horny gay guy.
There's lots of room
Teeth
to go
doesn't
on.
matter.
So, anyways, I'm so sorry. That was maybe shady, but look in his face. He is a beautiful individual. He's kind of muscular and tattooed. So I'm going to say I will shag John Finlay. You can take your teeth out for me, baby. And I will marry Travis Maldonado, because when he walked into the episode, I'm like, whoa, you're going to date Joe? Like, because I thought he was very cute when he walked into the episode. Was the other name Dylan? I didn't see him on the first episode, so he must be a later life husband. I'm going to chuck him.
I'm curious, what
Chop.
effect, broadly, before we continue in Shag Marry Chop, what effect do you think this has on LGBT perception?
Honestly, I think it's giving us a bad name, and I think that the general world is going to laugh at our community like they already do.
I read an editorial this week about this. I haven't watched the show yet. David's been pushing me to make sure I watch. I read an editorial this week, interesting, that compared this show to for the LGBT community to Jersey Shore for yokels
Oh, wow.
in New Jersey. And it was a horrifying, or Siesta Key for Floridian.
How old is the guy marrying all of these people, approximately? Because I feel like it makes our community look like pedophiles, quite honestly, based on how all of them look. They get younger and younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
All right, Shag
Who are you
Marry
gonna
Chop.
shag?
Who are you going to shag?
John, you were very right. He's very handsome.
The tooth thing doesn't bother you.
Well, there's not a single picture of him
He doesn't-
smiling in this.
He doesn't have to smile. As long as he doesn't smile. The open mouth thing is fine, but just the no smiling. Travis, dude, I'm sorry. He's just dirty.
You don't like dirty stuff.
So no. And Dylan is the only one left, so I'd have to marry him.
By the way,
But then I
one
would
of
just
my
to remember that John is over here so that you can always use him.
Don't they? It's very interesting to me because general population of America and the world, they always, especially women, talk about how well-groomed gay men are and
not redneck gay men.
yeah, okay.
Dirty.
Yeah, there it is, dirty. All right. Napoleon, you're a little randy these days.
Yeah, not this much. I'm apparently gonna put my foot in my mouth though, because I'm nervous on who these people are, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna say in relation to that. I will shag Travis.
Wait, before you go through this, have you? I'm curious. I'm really pitching in deep.
Oh, please
Have
go
you
ahead.
had encounter relationships with anyone,
Oh my God,
people
yes.
like this?
Yes, there was this one guy that I knew that lived in Virginia, and he was not only in the KKK, but he worked at an animal slaughterhouse. And I was a vegetarian at that time, and it was really surprising because he was
And
really
did
pretty.
you have relations with this individual?
That may or may not have happened on a physical level, but not emotionally. I mean, he was kind of like John Finley in
was
terms
a
of how he
group
looked,
thing.
but it was
So you could have sex, but you disconnected emotional.
yes.
Yeah. So
Well,
the sex was okay.
Yeah, he was decent at that, but I mean, the rest of it was something you have to just put aside, acknowledge. I'm not going to marry this guy. That's why we have games like this.
Yeah.
This is the triage we do of everyone we meet every day.
Yes.
You're going to shag them. You're going to marry them. You're going to see them goodbye.
Yeah,
We do this every day.
And one other related question now to the kind of dirty observation that Chris made. Gay guys that are like this, have you had experiences like that with the dirty gay guys?
Yeah, they do exist. I mean, that can be. It could
For
be.
you.
Yeah, it could be red. Yeah, it can be that. It can be like hippie-esque.
Now, why would you do that? I'm curious. Why would you be interested in that?
Because all things can be interesting, at least to experiment with it. Why would you not want to give that a try? I mean, again, I'm misophobic, germophobic. It's a long time.
Not
that
the
I've taken
matter of
over
what
it.
he looks like; it's the sex.
It's the sex.
Hopefully they look good too and they feel good. But I would shag Travis because one time is about all I could do. He looks like an asshole, and honestly, just the dirt bike thing makes me want to like push him off the bike.
I like the dirt bike.
One time is all I could do with it. I don't know. I don't mind a dirt bike, but how he rides.
Did you
it
just
makes
get
me think,
excited over the dirt bike?
I think she did.
I heard and felt and watched the little
Okay,
twinkle
yes,
that
the
went.
dynamic and the temperature of everything changed. I'm from Alaska. We have ATVs, we have four wheels, we have dirt bikes, we have snowmobiles.
If we said these three guys were from Alaska, it would be completely interchangeable.
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
They could be in Oklahoma or they could be in Alaska.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
One or the other.
Okay, all right. And who would you marry?
I'm really hesitant to say this because I feel like he does bad
Mostly
things to
because I'm going
animals.
to shame you.
I feel like he does bad things. He'll shame me no matter what. I feel like he does bad things to the animals, but I'm gonna go with John. I think that's the right answer. He keeps his mouth shut. Okay, that's good.
See?
If you say that, so he's quiet. That's good. He can just be a physical object over
He
there.
was quiet. I said he didn't have teeth. And
Stop trying to keep me not playing the game. I'm really trying here, Misty.
All right.
you didn't play last week, so I'm glad you're playing.
And then I will chop Dylan because I don't know. Like he just people that piss me off. They look like that bro dick that you just like. Maybe one time you'll fuck them. Maybe at best shag them at best. But no, I can't do it.
Sorry, did you say fuck?
No, we never say that word.
No, we never say that word. Okay. All right. And fortunately, because I'm the moderator, I can choose not to play the game, which is my choice.
Wait, can I say something about this before we move on?
Yeah.
I did watch one episode, and they totally misgendered a transmasculine individual and called him she the entire episode. I'm not choosing to finish this season, not for that reason, but that reason really did irritate me. I Googled because I just in my transgender spirit, I knew that they were trans, and I Googled it, and I was right. They actually filed a petition to complain because they were misgendered by. It was the one that had their arm bit off. I don't know the name.
I haven't watched this show yet.
Arm bitten off. Wait, what is this show?
It's about
What is
the
this
tiger.
show?
It's oh my gosh.
Tiger
Okay,
King?
Joe Exotic, the tiger, lion,
Wait.
country safari, Oklahoma.
We must stop because I was getting ready to say if the editorial op-ed that I read is true and they compared this to the LGBT Jersey Shore, do not watch it. Do not finish
not
it.
good.
Do not support it. This sounds like a horrible product to me. All right, so that's Shag Marry Chop. Tonight, we end the show. Before we do good nights, we always have pizza from Jet's Pizza. And our delivery person, we thank. They're here. She is here in mask. What is your name? Carol is here, and this is this is mine.
This
by
is your
the way.
favorite, right?
You can keep it. You're holding it.
This is
You
right,
touched it.
right.
Corona
It is,
rules.
gluten-free. It is cauliflower crust, which is
And
really
it's actually
great.
a good gluten-free thing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
cauliflower cluster. I didn't know that was
Great
an option.
pizza here in South Florida. Now, as we say goodnight tonight, we invite all of the hosts to give us a good night message before we close the show. And Christopher, we thank you very much from Breaking Rules Publishing.
Thank you.
And Christopher, I give you the opportunity to say goodnight.
Stay well. Take care of yourselves. Reach out to the people you love, and enjoy life. That's what I have to say.
Great. And Misty Eyez, you're always fun to be around. and your message that
Take it away. Yeah, in this time it is hard to stay optimistic, and in this time it is hard and difficult to stay positive, but you have to. Earlier Al talked about the fact that he doesn't know how he's going to make it through this pandemic, but we are a resilient people. Please respect the guidelines. Stay home, isolate yourself, wash, hand sanitize, air kisses, not elbow bumps, not feet bumps. Stay away from people. Respect yourself, protect yourself, stay safe. Nobody is immune to this disease.
That's right. And everyone has, since I'm not getting an introduction.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm lifestyle expert NapoleonPlays. Sitting over there, hand sanitizing himself, ready for the
I
pizza.
was thinking about me.
Yeah.
My friend
That's
Napoleon
what
Plays.
she said.
I did 8.5 miles today with him, so obviously my
Your
friend.
time is
Yeah.
spared.
Well, as you said, it's a difficult time, but now is also a great time to get reconnected with ourselves and with the people that we're isolated with. We can get in touch with our imaginations and find lots of ways to interact and have fun. I know that's what it's all about. I am NapoleonPlays, and you can find a way to play every day, every way, whether that's being on Broadway. They have free shows for a week. You can watch them online. You can find all sorts of things. There's all sorts of projects that people are doing. We've talked about the entertainment. Just make sure that you're taking care of your mental health while you're at home, and stay connected, stay in love, and then stay disconnected, because that's better for you sometimes too.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that exact observation, because I want to say goodnight to America and the world by saying, first, we're thinking of Ron Brenesky. He is sitting in a hospital in ICU on a ventilator, and we think about him constantly. Our host partner here at It's Happening Out. We are thinking about Chef Josie. Again, it was great for her to be able to come in, watch her program that she is doing, Chef Josie's coronavirus diary. It'll be really, really valuable. And the last thing that I want to say in goodnight is I mentioned, how am I going to get through this? It's weighing on me repeatedly. I'm talking about it and thinking about it a lot. And really what that comes down to is I'm really now fundamentally concerned that we're not talking about our mental health enough. We're talking about the medical needs of coronavirus, isolation and sanitation and masks, etc., and so on, where our equipment is coming from, including ventilators, etc. But I think very shortly, as this goes on and it worsens, our mental health is going to be front and center. We are going to have people that are going to make really radical decisions that are bad decisions because they're in isolation and they fundamentally feel lost. I just remind you, you should pay attention to those feelings. My observation of saying, I don't know how I'm going to get through this month, is a positive observation, which is a recognition that I'm worried about my mental ability to get through this month. That requires what we don't do great in America, which is to recognize that we have emotional challenges. Our mental health is real. And those people that are in industries to help us with our mental health are important. Never more in the history of this country than today on April 1st. So pay attention to how you're feeling, how you're thinking, how you're getting through this, and how you're responding, not to the medical, because you're going to do that, but to how you're feeling and your mental response to what is going on. You will thank yourself if you do that. And that's what I'm thinking about in wishing you good night. Remember, if it is important to you, it is important at It's Happening Out. And we are here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We are the most popular live LGBT television show in the world. But more important now, in the midst of coronavirus, we're sitting here talking about the important things that we all should be talking about if we weren't in social isolation. So we're more important than ever, and we'll try to do a good job to entertain and to inform. So thank you for tuning in with us, and good night, America.